As they moved from system to system, they've got a couple of sites that they operate their business from, as I think we've talked about in the past. And one of those is a station tucked away, and so they moved there, and it was there that you said goodbye to Kratala and the survivors. Majority of the survivors of the Sana Law, they elected to stay aboard that station. They were given workspaces and living quarters. There was room to expand. And so a majority of the survivors, along with Kratala, stayed on board there. You, however, and the rest of the crew went along with the ISO 1 blockade runner as it continued on its journey. It's sort of visited a couple of the ISOTech facilities. A couple of them they felt needed to be packed up after ISOTech obviously attracted the attentions of the ER clan, and they're concerned about the attention that they might have gained from the Empire. So they're packing up some of their facilities and moving on. You sort of spent some time with them as they were doing that, and it was during that time that you did your shopping, that you made the modifications, and all of those other various bits and pieces. Was there anything else that you wanted to do in that downtime?
Yeah, I'd go to hospital in that downtime.
You will have all healed in that time. So any injuries that you had, any wounds, any strain are fully recovered.
Guys, Ethan goes to hospital and stays in there for about a week.
You needed a nice long rest. You deserve
it. I really did a nice long rest. I was very tired.
Well, during that time, M8's purchasing a new hat. So, yeah.
In that, M8's been shooed out of the medical wing a number of times, seeing if the Bacta tanks in there are removable.
It's very hard to try and conceal one under your cloak.
Probably spot me in one of them.
Is that a Bacta tank you're carrying, or are you just happy to see me?
And before we get too far, I've got a mod for my armor too. Roll for.
Oh, yep. What do we got?
So the mod is... So this book is just bad. There's so much stuff. It is Reflect Shadow Skin.
That sounds real fancy.
Oh, no, that's the mod for all the armor.
And it's just going to be a hard test. We've got Brecco on the case again.
So happy with that? Yep, so that's just the attachment, I take it. Yep. Oh, smashed it. And then there is one mod I'd like to put on, which is the Innate Stalker.
Boom.
Ooh.
Brecco has been rolling absolute fire, apart from my mod.
Yeah, he has, isn't he?
And I'm still trying to source a weapon.
ISOTech are on the case.
Yep. That is all for me.
All right. Can I get you, Josh, check your Discord just for a sec? And can I get... so while you were staying at the station, which is creatively named ISO 2,
Well, at least they've got a theme and they like sticking to it.
Yeah, it helps on keeping the receipts in order, I think. You meet a person destined to become a fifth member of this ragtag crew. Her name is Jala
Yeah.
Eshel, and what of your story do you want this ragamuffin ragtag band of ne'er-do-wells to know?
Probably that I'm not from the Outer Rim. I'm clearly from the core, or certainly one of the closer into the core. But I'm probably out here because I can't stay back there. Without more specifics than that at the moment.
Are you slumming it?
Looks like hiding more than out for a good time.
So you dressed nicely, but
Yeah, so well dressed, well mannered, but so out of place, but not necessarily completely gullible either.
Well, welcome to the crew. We are nothing if not discreet, said the 7-foot robot wearing a top hat and a moustache.
So, just a question that I think would be interesting to talk around. Jala, what to think about would be what is it that Jala wants to gain out of joining this crew? And two, what do you think it might be about Jala, who's obviously a very charismatic, very charming person? What is it this crew sees in her that they want in their crew?
I would have thought that Jala's looking for I was about to say reputable job, probably something more akin to a steady job, if not necessarily entirely reputable, something that can provide her with a means of surviving out in the ring. And in terms of why she would join up with the crew, it's hard to know if there's it depends on how we meet, I suppose. If during this downtime she strikes up a conversation with you guys and convinces you to let me tag along, that's a potential way we could do that.
I think that,
So
given that we've been... Sorry?
No, you're right. What do you think that Jala wants to gain out of the crew? Like, she's been stuck with Isotech, probably involved in some odd jobs. They're a tech company that deals both with legitimate and illegitimate business. Both fair trade and black market trade in technology. Her involvement with them may have come from your contacts that got you to the Outer Rim. That was maybe how they got you off, or got you away, and that your birth on ISO 2 came, after your extraction from, where you were, and that you were perhaps waiting for, some sort of passage away from ISO 2.
Well, it's certainly possible that I've done to earn my place at ISO 2. I might have done some negotiating work for Isotech.
Yep.
And in doing so, I've heard of this particular group and some of their exploits, and figured they may be worth tagging along with. Now, not knowing too much about your exploits, I'm assuming you haven't literally fucked up the entire way.
I don't think that's a safe assumption at all.
If you're hearing, Alex, if you're hearing of this crew from the crew at Isotech, you're hearing about a crew that were given the job of finding the impossible. That this mythical ship, who found it, who rescued survivors from it, and brought the company both, rescued them from Imperial attack, and also brought to them a person who is spoken about in absolute hushed terms as a game changer, and that is a person called Kratala.
Right. So they have a bit of a reputation going at the moment.
Yeah, we do stuff well.
They do, especially within Isotech. And it is, you're canny enough to understand that you're inside an echo chamber as well. But certainly in Isotech, everything that you hear has been very positive.
Yeah. No, I think certainly Jala would see that as an opportunity to support a unit that appears to be going well, earning a reputation for itself, earning a life for themselves in the Rim, and that might be an opportunity for her to also establish herself and prove her worth.
Yep, sounds good.
Sounds lovely. You're good with the talk stuff, are you, sweetie?
Well, we can't all be killers.
No.
Well, not with that attitude.
Well, there wouldn't be anyone left if we were all killers. So,
Someone's got to die. So someone's got to be a victim, don't they?
well, you can kill other killers. I won't stop you.
That's good.
All right. In the meantime, while you're sort of all getting to know each other, time's passing. You're, Isotech are thrilled. They've paid you handsomely for the work that you've done, but you're also handing it right back to them. Admittedly, they're parting with some pretty tasty morsels from their equipment racks at the same time, but that's all fair play. It's a good tax. Sorry, no, never mind. The Mazota has had some news. I don't know whether you want to share that, Mazota.
Yeah, so I've had a message from Vargas. He may have had some news of my sister, Mirabella.
Oh,
Let's go.
It's not as simple as that. There's a contact, Gordon Nataka. He's got the information. It sounds like it might be a little bit hard to extract, but Vargas reckons he can get that info out of him. So we've somehow got to find this. If you're willing to help me out, guys. But,
in for a penny, in for a pound.
Sorry, what was that?
She's in a bad place. We'll go get her out of it.
Mm.
See how I feel about that sort of thing.
So, exactly. Yeah, so Godin, he was last seen on Formos.
Foremost. Where the heck is that?
It's a dusty, dirty world that is notionally under Imperial control and is the doorway to the spice trade. It is at the very mouth of the Kessel Run.
Ooh.
Right.
The Kessel Run, that sounds familiar.
It's up near Hutspace. It's in top of Hutspace.
Is there any networking with Isotech where I can find out more information about this contact, just in case there's some existing information on it?
Godon Nataka.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably do a computer like a database search for his name and see what you can find.
I won't do search, but I can try.
Are there any sort of searches that you want to run?
In some ways, I would like a better techie doing it for me. Is there any sort of younger, impressionable computer operators that I could charm into doing some searches for me?
Yeah, there's a small rodent over here. He's called Brecco.
I don't want to lean into stereotypes, but yes.
Yeah, so hopefully try and find an Isotech technician who could do some of that searching for me.
Sure. Do you want to roll, or anyone who has been told that name, you might, you could roll a xenology knowledge check to see if the name gives you any clues.
Xenology.
Right.
Xenology. Ooh.
It's a law thing. Takes brains.
So did I do that right? I rolled nothing. 2 successes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get the sense that you know what tickled you into thinking along that track was the fact that certain cultures, certain species have naming conventions that might be a clue, but if you certainly can't think of any that might apply or find any in your searching.
I probably wouldn't be able to help myself but try and search his name out.
Yep.
Yeah. Not very good with pooters.
All right. I will say, Mazzoda, that the name to you, I was going to chuck some boost dice in if you were going to roll it, because the name to you is very.
Is it a Twi'lek name? Would he recognise?
Misspoke.
No.
Never mind. Ignore everything I just said. Does anyone else want to roll Xenology?
Yeah, sure. Who can it hurt?
I'll give it a belt. What do you want to know?
Brains the effort.
Are you rolling Heathen or not?
Yeah, I'm just getting my character and the skill. Where is it? There's Xenology. There we go. I know nothing.
Can also get everyone, before we kick off, just up near the dice pool, there is a button for rolling.
What's a block dice? That's right.
Oh no, not this thing.
Is it ready?
Yep.
What am I doing?
So up near the Destiny
Oh,
pool.
that's the wrong button.
Yeah.
Ah!
I'm supposed to roll one dice.
Yeah, no, up near the dice pool at the top of your character sheet, there should be a button somewhere that says,
Destiny pool and roll Destiny on the left.
"Yep, roll Destiny."
Oh. Right. Like that.
Yeah!
Yes, like that.
Oh my god.
Exactly like that.
We've started off right where we left off.
I'm going to try and give him back. Don't worry.
Thank you.
I see. Yeah. So we've got 1 light side point and 3 dark side points, effectively.
Yeah, it's a backwards and forwards currency, so you guys have basically screwed us.
I've done nothing bad yet.
All right.
That's a big black dot that says otherwise.
The name M8 was M8, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
The name rings a bell. You are confident that you had that the Nataka, particularly,
It's a Wookiee name.
yeah, is a name of a particular species, and you know you're thinking, you know, something in your head says bounty hunters, but you're not 100%. Or bounty hunter. You might have heard the name before. You've had your fair, share of run-ins over the years, but the name certainly rings a bell, and something potentially connected with bounty hunting.
Well, I guess I'm going to pass this information on to Mazzoda for starters.
Can I try and manipulate some isotech person to search up? Like, they'll have registries for bounty hunters, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Can I try and get someone to search a registry for me to find out any information on this guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're middle management, aren't you?
Yeah.
I
I don't do the stuff myself. I get other people to do it for me.
Do you stand over their shoulder while they're doing it? Just prodding
Breathing
them?
down the neck.
that it's just an average check. You're already well known to the crew here on ISO 2.
Yeah.
And so it's just an average check, and you can use charm if you'd like to, or leadership.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, is this basically using a charm to act as a computer check? So the result of the charm check is how good the computer check is? Does that make
No,
sense?
if you
No?
roll this check, you're
Yeah.
getting someone else. So I will roll their, I'll roll their computers. But if you roll particularly well, they might get a bonus. They might get some bonus die.
Yeah. So do I just roll my charm and then it takes the rest from there?
Yep. So I've set the difficulty in the GM dice pool, which is open on my screen. You just hit the dice button on your character sheet, and it will roll it. And as you can see, you got 2 successes and an advantage. So you've got their effects, unexpected subject beyond the original target. All right, so you've got, let's say you've got this fellow and another one of the techs here to have a look and see if they can find anything about this name. They're helping each other out. You're sort of helping out as well. And we will share their dice pools. So rather than having, we'll just basically give them an extra yellow dice when they're searching.
Yeah.
It's not an easy check, however, it is hard. And they've got a boost die in there as well. All right. The computer search takes a little while, but eventually you get a ping on that name, Godon Nataka, as a part of the Rhodian Bounty Hunters Guild.
Bloody Rhodians again.
Oh, I want to kill him. I want to kill them all.
Nothing spices up a Monday night like a little casual genocide.
Is it a particular group of Rhodians that I might be familiar with, or is it a different group?
It looks like just the name of a single bounty hunter that is a registered guild.
Okay.
Updates, however, on that hunter are extremely old. There's been nothing recent in the updates in regards to this bounty hunter and their activities.
So it could be dead, potentially.
Potentially.
That'd be unfortunate.
I'll relay the information I find back to the rest of the crew.
Rhodians are usually pretty on the money in terms of keeping up with their guilds and their clans and things like that. There's a lot of prestige in bounty hunting in Rhodian culture, and for a lot of Rhodians. However, having said that, it's not unusual for a bounty hunter to fall off the records for a number of months or a number of years. Depending on the region of space that they're working in, depending on the legality of the jobs that they're involved with, or the danger levels of the jobs that they're involved with. So it's not unusual to see, these sort of black holes in information. But certainly, what you know as a fact is that his logs haven't been updated for a long time.
So we've got a planet to go to, and we've got his name, but that's about it.
That's about it.
Well, it sounds like we're bounty hunters now.
Looking for some guy?
Or are we bounty hunters? To the ship!
Away!
The ship. Alrighty. So, let's try to. Find. All right. So we're all together on the galaxy map at the start there. You can see Kessel is here on the map. If you can see that ping. Formos is not far from there. It is here. And is really the gateway to Kessel. And the gateway to the Kessel Run. There's a lot of spice that flows through that area. However, what you can tell from finding out about it is that it's also an Imperial outpost, as you might expect.
Whereabouts are we currently?
You are over on the far side of Hut Space at the moment, near Cyrus here.
Okay, not too far
I'd
off.
say there are maps that I can't see, but no, I can see it. So where are we heading?
This
Just
way.
there.
Ah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you were Raxus Primers over here. That's where you left with ISO 1, the Corellian blockade runner, after your exploits on Cholgana. And that led you essentially skirting around Hut Space, over around near Nalhutta, and then back over up to Cyrus here just to check on a few of the facilities and so forth run by Isotech. You have not ventured back to the wheel. Isotech consider themselves burned out. They've burned that location, I think.
So we probably don't need to worry about paying that fine that we owe at the wheel.
They did that for us.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Should have kept the money.
No, we can get back there. We might need to go back. We might need to go back there one day. So
Not
that's
sure. We're
probably
not
helpful.
technically, we're not Isotech, so that's a good point.
Yeah. So what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Excellent. All right. So it's a reasonable jump.
Oh, that's another quick question. I forgot to ask everyone else. Would anyone like to spend some money on our ship? It was mentioned earlier. In the time that we had as downtime.
I've got no money.
I don't think we've got any money left.
Well, it sounds like everyone spent their money.
11,000 in its kitty.
Oh,
And a improved hyperdrive costs 6,000 something.
Sorry, how much do we have in the kitty, did you say?
10,000. 11,000.
Ooh. That's probably not a bad use of the money. I don't think weapons is the way to go.
Yeah, I think getting a better hyperdrive would be a good idea.
Do we have to pay things like berthing costs?
We do, and refueling and the likes. So having some
Yeah,
money.
you haven't in some of the locations you've been to because they've been paid for. So Bargos paid for you while you were with him. Isotech is currently paying for you, but you did pay your initial docking fees at the wheel, if you recall. And yeah, if you are landing in a port, it will cost you money. Yes.
Roughly how much does it cost for a docking fee?
It depends on the port and depends on the service, but anywhere from 100 up, depending if you also need repairs or anything like that done.
Just to be clear, 100 even, not 100,000, right?
100.
Oh yeah, 100.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Because they're two very different conversations.
The entire value of your ship.
Yeah, I think a hyperdrive, it makes sense.
Yep.
What does it get? It's just faster?
It increases the hyperdrive from a factor of 2 to 1. So
Yep.
factor 2 means it takes twice as a standard. Factor 1
So
takes 51.
This currently is a hyperspace jump of about 4 days. At a times 2, that'll take you 8 days.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we often find ourselves pressed for time to get to a place, so
Yep.
being able to get there fast is not going to hurt us, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. So in that 2 weeks we've been able to have that installed?
Yep.
Okay. An Avenger. Vehicle sheet.
So what are we bumping to a times 1?
Times 1, yep. I'll do that.
Excellent. Done.
Oh no. Right, let me do it. There we go. It's done. So now
All right.
And I'll put in the hyperdrive in there. Improved hyperdrive as a modification.
Yep,
On the
very
top.
nice. All right, so anything else you want to cover off before you, or anything else you want to research before you head out?
I wouldn't mind understanding a bit more about the planet we're going to.
Yep.
So I might jump on the old super space internet.
Yep. Do you want to do a first of all, a lore outer rim. See if you've heard of this place or what you might know of it.
Good news.
Yeah.
Unskilled
Yes.
roll.
Well, anyone else who's got that can certainly roll.
What was it?
If
Sorry?
your character is...
You're saying this is an Imperial outpost?
Yep.
Can I use my knowledge warfare if I know anything about this particular outpost?
Certainly. I'm going to keep it as a hard test because it's not a large outpost, and nor is it particularly famous. However, it is a very important one, so it's no more difficult.
I think based on my results, I've cleared Brecco's search history. That's about it.
Brecco, thanks you.
Did you set up the difficulty for my
Yep.
roll?
Roll away.
Oh, ouch.
You don't know anything about it, but what you do recall is that Kessel is a prison colony, essentially, and under Imperial control. And while you don't know anything about the outpost, you assume that the Empire will have invested resources in protecting the flow of spice out of Kessel, and that therefore that the outpost, whatever it is likely to be have a significant presence in Foremost.
Yeah, I'll relay that without being specific about how I know those sort of things, but I assume it's more of an assumption that having heard that Kessel is a big like a prison colony, then there are likely to be a lot of enemy resistance in that area, or we at least have to stay clear of the Imperials if we can.
Like to avoid any Imperial entanglements.
Ideally.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And it's going to cost you extra. All right. So, is there anything else that you'd like to do before we shoot off?
I'm good.
No, I'm good.
I think so. I'll just remind that vendor, keep your eye out for that stuff.
You
The
know,
most
good stuff.
discreet thing I've ever heard.
Let's get,
Do you give him payment in a big bag with a dollar sign on the side of it?
Oh, an astrogation.
I don't have the droid for that.
Yeah, we've got a droid for that, but better if you have someone that has the skill to assist.
I've got one skill point in it.
What's your intelligence?
That's a personal question. 3.
So you can assist the droid, or the droid can assist you.
I mean,
So
either way, you're going to end up with 3 yellow.
Yep.
I probably prefer the astromech droid to do it, to be honest. I'm just a doctor and a damn good one.
So
He's just getting your coffee, and you're just plugging away at this astrogation computer. I don't know what I'm doing, quite frankly, but this feels good.
Everything's fine.
All right. Well, what I'll get you to do is just to roll the dice pool. So go to the dice in the center of the dice pool at the top of your character sheet. Click that.
Ooh.
All right. So we've been down the road before with these dice. If there's a failure on a test that you're not going to fail, in all likelihood, like, you know, I'm climbing up a ladder to get to the top of this thing and I'm going to roll athletics and I fail. Your character's not stupid enough to just fall off a ladder. In the same way that an astrogation droid is not going to fail to navigate to Kessel, to Foremost, which is a well-charted destination. However, it does take a little bit extra time. So you've got a ×1 hyperdrive. It takes you about 6 days to get there. However, the ship, because of that advantage, is not going to take any strain from that check.
Excellent.
I told you this was the fastest way here.
It's the Kessel run. You did it in under 5 parsecs, didn't you?
I don't think us stumbling from from Raxus across was. Well, we're over the other side now, aren't we?
Yeah,
Suvos-
you're over. You were over here.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's when I told you should have taken the overpass at Honecker. All right. Yep. So you are over. You arrive at Formos. Excellent. You arrive in orbit around the planet Formos. What you can see is a dusty, dirty world. The upper atmosphere, low Earth, or low Formos orbit is busy with ships moving in and out. But none of them, there's a lot of junkers and things like that in this area. So while there are a few yachts and a few more expensive merchantmen, by and large, the most consistent type of ships you see are small merchants vessels, some gunboats, and in the distance you can see an Imperial patrol craft loitering as well. So you arrive in orbit, you communicate with ground control, and are directed to land at the Formos spaceport.
We'll
Do
make
so.
our work to the spaceport.
Yeah, excellent. You are directed to hangar 22B in the Formos spaceport, and you are told there that the docking fees are 150 credits, and more than that if you'd like the ship refueled and checked over. Brecco is not with you. He is back at the. Oh, it's up. Do you think Brecco should be with us?
I think he'd be on board the ship still,
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yep.
just working
All right.
on his blog.
We will
Can I
go.
try and negotiate that the just the maintenance work is a part of the hangar fee, like the docking fee?
You could certainly try and negotiate a lower price. Try and charm your way into a lower price. You know, I'm not going to be here that long. You know, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Try and drop some names, or you know, whatever else it might be. It's going to be hard. You know, they deal with a lot of traffic, and everybody tries it on.
Yeah.
But you are welcome to have a go,
So I just
and it's ready to roll when you are.
Hey.
Nice.
Talk.
All right. Yeah,
actually-
you talk them down to 100 credits, and you know they're happy to get their techs to give it the once over when you land. You've already told them you've got a tech on board that can carry out any repairs and do checks and things like that, and that was part of the bargaining that got you that agreement. You land down in hangar 22B. It's open to the sky, obviously. And the first thing that you notice is that Formos is a forbidding world. It is arid. It is rocky desert, shrouded by dusty, dark clouds. And if just from a glance, it wasn't for the fact it was positioned right at the end of a heavily traversed hyperspace route that's unlikely anybody would live there. It is a terrestrial planet with a breathable atmosphere and a standard gravity. However, the air is choking to breathe. It is very dry. It's almost acerbic when you're breathing it into your lungs. And very uncomfortable. And Brecco, with the covered in fur as he is does not want to exit the ship and go out. He's going to stay in the air conditioned comfort of the ship.
Can I use the advantage on that charm to negotiate for some breathing equipment?
Yeah, breathing equipment is for hire. Who's likely to need it? The planet is breathable. It's just uncomfortable. Normally, they reserve it for your more aquatic, Mon Calamari style of races that might find this planet particularly unbearable. But yeah, you can.
25 credits.
What's that?
A breath mask will cost you about 25 credits.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
one of
so you can hire it for about 3 credits a day, if you would like to.
I've got a bandana.
I'll put my mask on.
So M8's gotten rid of his top hat and apron outfit and is decked out in a full-on duster with a cowboy hat.
What? No safari outfit?
No, not for this one. The safari outfit's for a different setting.
We were in Jungle West last time, weren't we? You'll fit in.
Excellent. All right. Well, you make your. You've arrived in any case at Formos. What would you like to do? Where would you like to go?
Maybe our new friend Jarla could take us to a nice cantina.
Yeah, I was thinking when sort of chatting to the ground crew at the spaceport where we're docked, trying to just feel out a good place to meet people in that, like finding out where the best bar to start asking questions would be.
Start asking questions like what sort of questions? What are you after here?
Well, we're looking for an old friend of ours, and we heard he'd been through here recently, and we just need to find where the best place to find him would be.
Looking for an old friend. I've heard that before.
Well, I hear a lot of people have friends, so I'm sure it's not uncommon for people to be looking for him.
It's always good, when you catch up with an old friend, the reward that you get from those encounters. It makes it all worthwhile.
Well, if my friend has a bounty on it, I wouldn't know.
Of course. There's a couple of places around that are particularly popular. One of them probably frequented most by, say, people who know people, is a place called the Jenks Cantina.
Sounds lovely. That's her beer.
Yeah. Is there I suppose it sounds like a stupid question, but is there a place that is very often frequented by Rhodians?
Rhodians? They'll go wherever the drinks are flowing and the staff, in connection with people who know things.
Alright, so the Rejinx is the best place, basically.
There's a couple of places around, but certainly that one is, got a good reputation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So how rough is this place, mate?
Are you talking to Jarla? I presume that discussion would have taken place over the comms?
Yeah.
So
it sounds like it's a place where
you want someone like me with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally, someone who looks like it can handle themselves. That will ward away most of the trouble.
Yeah, I'll go with you. You coming, mate?
Yeah. Am I allowed to carry a rifle?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Is there any particular weaponry bans on this particular spaceport? Or?
A lot of the cantinas won't allow you to walk in with anything bigger than something on your hip.
I can put a disruptor rifle on my hip.
A pistol is so large, but yes, it's a pistol.
What you need to understand is that there is an Imperial presence on Formos, and if they catch you walking around with anything certainly that their systems are going to flag, then they're not going to be impressed by it.
I was
Plenty of people do.
I was more thinking for my just my my blaster rifle,
Not your portable cannon.
not the judge, just the blaster rifle. Or is that going to be a bit too much?
No, that's it's up to you guys what you want to do.
I'm gonna grab one of those breathing masks actually. So dual purpose.
Jala, what do you think? Is this? Should I just take a pistol, or should I go looking for trouble?
I would try and avoid drawing too much attention, and your very nice big gun is probably going to draw the wrong kind of attention by the local Imperials.
All right, M8's shoulders slump a little, and he slinks back to the medical quarters with the sort of sound of spurs jangling very sadly on the way, and he comes back out with his pistol. Will have to do.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. The spaceport, as you move out into it, are you going to make your way to the Regenx Cantina, you said?
Yeah.
So the spaceport, as you move out into it, you can see consists of a large docking area for the storage of cargo and obviously spaceships. That's surrounded by a sort of ramshackle settlement of dwellings and warehouses. The buildings are worn, dusty, and utilitarian. And, that dusty, dirty colour of the terrain that they're surrounded by. There's a few traders that have set up business in the spaceport, and you can see them. The streets are busy with people moving around with hawkers. A lot of people are wearing face coverings just because the wind tends to whip the dirt and sand up, and because the air itself has quite a bitter tang to it as you breathe it into your lungs. So you can see there's a couple of food stalls. There's a lot of water stalls, and that's the other thing that strikes you just walking off the ship is just an immediate sense of thirst. You can see that there's also in the streets people selling all manner of weapons, equipment, anything you might think would be required by fringes, smugglers, or spacers. And the streets are dotted with piles of crates, trash compactors, evaporators. There's a couple of larger buildings in the spaceport and near the spaceport, and one of those is fortified and is obviously the, to your eyes, Jala, the base of whatever Imperial Army troopers have been stationed to Formos. One of the other better appointed buildings in this area is the Regenx Cantina.
Mate, no gambling.
I haven't got any money anyway.
Good.
No,
Takes talk.
gambling's not my vice.
Oh, head off.
All right. So you walk out of the spaceport and you can see, as I said before, just an absolutely, huge number of little market stalls popped up all over the place, little street stalls. Some of them are selling weapons, some of them equipment. There's quite a few selling water. As you walk out of the spaceport, standing on a cargo box outside of the spaceport is an insectile alien of some sort, standing on this box, holding in its arms a large wad of pamphlets. And as soon as you walk out of the spaceport, it waves its arms towards you and clicks its mandibles, clicking and carrying on. In three of its arms, it is waving pamphlets in your direction. With another, it's gesturing. And with the other two, it's holding the rest of the pamphlets as it's trying to address you.
We understand it?
You could roll a xenology.
No.
It's going to be...
Basically not. I'll put my scanner goggles on to get them on. Get my eyes clean.
I'll roll this knowledge check.
I can
Have
roll
you got
one, but I won't pass it.
translation software?
What was that? Sorry.
Have you got any translation software?
No.
You understand binary?
No. It was a language other than Space Common, so I didn't learn it at robot school.
Yep. All right. Well, if you're rolling M8, you can roll now.
Hey! Look at me go!
Nice.
Know everything about
I gave you a
aliens.
boost die because of your medical history, and you recognise actually you've dealt with a member of this species once before, long ago in the past. This is a tritonite, and is preaching something about being inspired by the example of Holy Gactimus, eschewing stimulants, something about entertainment, crimes. He's trying to hand you a Flexiplast pamphlet as you sort of stop. He sort of almost puts it into your hands, M8,
I just,
that is extolling the benefits of following the example by this obscure religious figure, Holy Galactimus.
it sounds like a transformer.
Doesn't it?
I'm just going to grab the pamphlet and just keep walking.
You can see the insect get excited when you take the pamphlet, and you can see also that the ground around him has got quite a few of these trampled into the dirt, and the bin just down the road, just a couple of about 2 or 3 meters down past him, is absolutely chock-a-block full of these pamphlets that he's manufactured. Since you've carried it, what are you doing with it?
I guess I'm going to scan it. Like, quick glance over it.
Yep, not a problem. You can roll another xenology test, and this again, is it hard?
Oh, I'm bound to fail at some point here, boys. But not today!
I believe it. It's just standard religious pamphlet. It is, it has got a picture of an insect figure surrounded by wavy lines like electricity. Above that, you gather, is the name Holy Galactimus, and there are in there you sort of software systems slowly grinding through a rough translation about the evil narcotics of alcohol, of impure thoughts and behaviors, and extolling the virtues of Galactimus and his way of life.
I hope this place has got
How
beer.
does he affect you?
Ethan, I believe this is for you. I'm handing him the pamphlet and then just reciting exactly what I translated back to him.
Oh dear God, no! Like beer and hookers, please.
Well, no, not with this, dear God. No, that's the whole point.
God. Okay, then get rid of it. Seriously.
I can't do that to the poor guy. I'm throwing it away.
I'll get rid of it for you.
I'm throwing it away.
No problem. You sort of you turn your head to the left, and you see that the insect, actually the tritonite, had leapt off his soapbox in shock that you looked like you were reading the pamphlet, and that you'd handed it to a companion, no less, and has leapt off his soapbox and taken 3 or 4 steps down the street, and you can see the expression on his night face is one of joy. His mission, for the first time in how many years you couldn't recall, seems to finally have found someone, a soul to be saved, a person to be nurtured, and then you throw it in the bin.
Dead in the eyes as I throw it away too. Just bore holes in him and throw it away.
I had assumed that we weren't going to pick up literally every useless life form on the way on this mission.
No, don't
His little mandibles, twitch. You can see his little body slump, and he turns, clasping his pamphlets close to his chest, and slowly makes his way back to his soapbox.
Hey guys, we should have brought a whole bunch of water on board our ship. I mean, it's a freighter. Why didn't we bring water to this planet? Could have sold it.
Could have made a
Speaking of
kill.
which,
You would have made a
can I
killing.
get? Yeah, it is. It is really uncomfortable. Thanks for reminding me of that. Can I get everybody, please, to make an average? Excuse me. Resilience check, please.
Is this something I need to do?
Oh,
No,
resilient.
you don't need.
I grabbed a breather before we went out. Do I get a bonus of any kind to that?
Likewise.
Yeah, I'll give you a boost die. Absolutely.
I've definitely got my breather as well.
Yeah, can you throw a breather on for me? The boost dice. Roll one boost dice for me.
Oh yeah, no, you guys just have whatever equipment you didn't mention when you left the ship. That's fine. All right, boost dice boost dice are added. You may roll when you are ready.
Alright, I'll roll.
Yay!
This is going to be bad.
There we go.
Oh.
Oh,
Heathen,
I should put it on
no,
the
no,
radar.
It
you're
could
going
be
to take a
worse.
strain.
sorry, what was that?
Are you going to take a strain?
Strain.
A strain. You're getting really, even though you've got the mask on, this air, there's just all of you feel it. It's really sapping, and all of you are thirsty. Despite the fact that these breathers are doing their best to scrub particulate and other things out of the atmosphere that you're breathing in, it's just got a tang to it that the filters aren't getting, and it's just hitting your throat, and any moisture in there just seems to evaporate the second you're breathing in. Mazzotti, you're feeling it most keenly, and you take a strain.
Yeah, I'm a sensitive kind of guy.
Nathan, if I ask you to roll this again, you can ignore that.
Okay.
Mazzotta, do you require medical assistance?
No, it's
I'm
just
bringing out a needle.
It's probably
This is
just
heroin.
the fan gets everywhere. It's pretty annoying.
All right.
There's beer in that bar. Anyone thirsty? Let's get a drink.
There are a number of cellars just nearby. In fact, just nearby as you're walking past, there's a large, tall human woman standing behind what looks like a movable table with wheels on it. She's got a big plastic jug of water on her back, and there's another couple of them on the table, and hefts a large tray with a number of jars of water on it. And you can see the sign above her just reads "Mama No Bar, cheapest water on Formos." And just glancing at the prices around, indeed, they seem far more reasonable than a lot of the water sellers in the area.
I don't think it's actually water.
Well, that, and there's probably stuff in that water that you wouldn't want to drink.
Yeah.
My friends, she says, you look parched. You're obviously new to Formos. Only those new to Formos will walk around with those masks on their faces. Please, try some water. Cheapest water on Formos.
It's called a bandana, madam.
And I'll say it politely once. No, thank you.
Well, your friend here looks like he's struggling a little. Please,
Fine.
for
I'm
you, a
fine.
credit, nothing more.
I mean, that's a good deal.
You're a
and I have a look at one of those glasses and just shake my head.
Does the water look clear?
Yeah, it looks fine.
I mean, 1 credit. You're not going to get it cheaper than that.
I would say the reaction, yeah, it looks fine, is not the most inspiring I've ever had.
Can't see bacteria.
Every new visitor to Formos is affected by the atmosphere here. Let Mama the Bar help you out. Come on. Please, your credit, nothing more. just for the first drink, and for as good, pure, tasty. This will fix your.
We're going to a bar anyway.
And it's probably full of some sort of spice. So let's not.
I'll just politely refuse for the group, saying we're already on our way to a particular drinking hole, and we'll get our refreshments there when we get there.
Ah, looking for refreshments or information, perhaps.
Well, we'll start with one and see if we need the other.
Always the way. What brings you to Foremost, friends?
The lovely weather.
You're not
She
my
laughs and says, "Well, then I wish you the best on your journey."
I tip my hat and just keep on walking.
Not a problem.
Is she, this water seller, is she in a particularly advantageous spot in terms of seeing all the comings and goings in the spaceport, or is it just like, is she there to observe?
Yeah,
people?
it's a really busy space where she is, yes. Yeah, it's a juncture of a couple of roads leading from the spaceport and around the place, well within sight of the Imperial facility, and yeah, it is a busy place and got a good view of all of the surrounding areas.
Right. Yeah, I suppose we just go on to the bar, but I'll keep that in mind. What was her name?
Mama No Bar.
Mama.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, it was late afternoon when you arrived, and already the sun is starting to sink, and you can feel the temperature changing, slowly growing cooler. It hasn't helped. The atmosphere is still acerbic. And you make your way towards the Regex canteen, apparently somewhere down this way, and is a building that you will definitely notice. As you make your way to the cantina, you can see that that most of the buildings in this area are just a disorderly jumble of haste dwellings, and that as you're sort of approaching it, it sort of makes for a maze of alleyways filled with all manner of. There's portable trash compactors, piles of crates, personal moisture condensers, and line the gangways that sort of go between the houses and the shops, and all of that in this area. As you pass a particularly dark and narrow alleyway, I will get you to roll, please, a perception.
Uh-oh.
Is it ready?
It is ready.
Boo.
I can't
Wow.
believe it.
Smash
Even
that.
spread.
One success on 4 rolls, basically.
All right, so let's say the fail. You don't happen to notice this particular the noise. Those people who failed or who didn't get anything. With the advantage, however, you can see ahead the cantina is extremely busy, and there are a lot of people moving in and out. And it looks like at the moment that there is, a band. Looks like a band moving some stuff in preparation for tonight's festivities. Mazota, however, you hear a rattle and a sort of a buzzing noise come from in the alleyway. Then shortly after that, you sort of pause for a moment. The rattling stops, and you hear a low, monotonous voice call out, buzzing and faint. Hello? Help? Help?
Guys, do you hear that?
You what?
No.
Someone calling out for help.
Have you got heat stroke?
Oh, maybe.
I'm getting some moisturiser for you.
Sure, I can. I'm sure I can hear something.
Where?
Down there. Point towards where I hear the
Eyes.
sound.
I'll go for a walk.
You make your way, as you move into the alley, Heathen, you can hear it as well. It's this sort of faint call, plaintive cry for help, and it's a very you tell the minute you move in, or you hear it, that it's the voice of a droid, and you hear a help, and then a sort of a metallic tap, 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 and then a scraping noise, and then a sort of a buzzing of failing electronics, and then another help. It seems to be coming from a large trash compactor near one of the warehouses.
Go in there.
Into the trash compactor.
No, go into the warehouse where the trash compactor is.
Yeah.
The warehouse is locked up at the moment. It's got large sort of roller doors, but one of the other doors, if you try it, is unlocked.
No, let's go in that. Open it.
All right, you walk into this warehouse essentially. It is dark for the most part throughout. It looks like everybody's packing up. You walk into sort of an open area, and then beyond sort of what's office. Yep. You can see someone leaning back in their chair, talking to somebody else in the office. And the minute the door is flung open, a new stride is off their chair, and what the? Oh, who the hell are you, guy?
My name's Hessen, and I hear someone calling out for help. Someone coming to help them. Who are you?
What are you talking about? There's nobody in here but me and Greg.
Well, shut your mouth and listen for a second, see if you can hear it.
Whoa, hey.
I
Hey,
said
no.
quiet.
Huh?
Want to hear it?
He puts his hands up, and he says, "Okay, all right, buddy. Just be aware. You know who this warehouse belongs to, right?"
No?
Oh, friend, you might want to. I'm not looking for any trouble. You get nothing from me. You got nothing from me. I'm here to help, okay? But
Then, B.
I'm telling you now, mate. You don't turn around and walk out of here. There could be trouble.
Okay.
Are there any markings on the warehouse?
Can I hear where it's coming from?
It's coming from a blue. The noise was coming from the blue trash compactor outside.
Oh, okay.
So while he's going there, I'm going to have a look at this
Right.
trash compactor.
I want that trash compactor open.
He's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, friend? I got nothing to do with this. Is this a shakedown?
No, I'm asking you to open
Yeah, I
it
think we don't keep it on premises.
politely. And I'm not going to
The
ask
one-
politely again
You want me to walk outside?
and open the trash compactor.
And he's looking at you very nervously, and he signals to his friend, and his friend's like, if anything should happen,
I'm not going to hurt anyone if you do what I ask. There's someone in that trash compactor getting hurt and asking for help. Let's help them.
he's nervously walking out. He's sort of got his hands up where you can see them. Walks outside, takes in you and the three others, that are there. And says, "All right, what do you want, mate? What do you want?"
How do you open that trash compactor?
He moves over to the trash compactor, and then you can hear that sound again, that help, very faint help, and then a sort of a tap, tap, tap on the metal, and you can see the guy look and just looks in like, what the hell? You see the expression on his face is one of surprise, and he lifts up the lid of the trash compactor. Inside, you can see that there is a bunch of rubbish and junk, and that in there is the very badly damaged body of a droid. Its head's been almost shaved in. One of its eyes is smashed and its body's been pulled apart. There's all manner of wiring, hydraulics, hardware strewn all around the inside of the trash compactor. M8, you know that this is a J9B8, a variant of the 3PO protocol droid made by Cybot Galactica. And the J9B8 provided long service as a protocol droid in lots of different regions of space.
Does that droid belong to you?
The guy looks at the droid and goes, "The hell?
Yeah.
We only put rubbish in here a few hours ago. This must have happened in the meantime."
I'm tapping on the droid's head. Hello?
Ripped up.
Do you have any cameras out here? Security cameras?
He shakes his head and he says, "We got a couple of cameras out here, but they're for show for the most part. The real cameras are inside the warehouse. Most people's know not to go knocking on doors in areas they're not wanted."
Thanks for your assistance.
"Anything else I can do?"
No, probably not.
"Nice to meet you, guy."
Can we fish the protocol droid out of the trash compactor?
He's sort of hanging around the guy from the warehouse. And are you going to tell him to bugger off, or are you going to let him?
I'm gonna. Can I tap on the droid's head and just sort of say hello?
Yep.
Ting, ting, ting.
The protocol
Hello?
droid looks. Its head moves around from side to side. It knows it's being moved, and it knows that someone's just tapped on its head and said hello, but it doesn't. You can see that its eyes currently aren't functional, and it says, "Greetings. Glad to found me. Please help.
How did you get in there?
They took my friend. Please help
Who's your friend?
save R4W9.
Are you R4W9?
I'm designation J9B8.
So it's another droid. Okay.
Can
Excuse
I do
me.
any minor repairs on this thing while I'm here?
What's that?
I'll attempt to do some minor repairs and stop it from failing completely if I can.
Absolutely. This droid's absolutely masticated. Have you got any equipment to help you with said repairs?
Not really, no, other than the bits lying around that's in it.
Yep. Feel free. It's a daunting test.
Ooh.
Then it'll be a no. I can't do that.
I'm going to turn to this vaguely Italian mobster sounding guy
Yep.
and just saying, is this robot yours? Sorry,
I
droid?
ain't never seen this robot before in my life. I tell you, this has been dumped in here in the last couple of hours.
Very good, we'll take it off your hands.
Who is
you.
this R4W9? I tell you what, tearing up a droid ain't usual behavior. Not even in these parts.
Who else would have access to this bin? This
And that walking past, like you
Anyone
and me.
walking
Oh,
past?
so they can just throw it.
You know?
I reckon we should get to go
Rude.
back on the ship and get.
Is there any markings on the warehouse, or does this guy have any markings that might indicate a particular faction?
Good question. You can roll a hard check to see if you can actually say roll an average check, and then based on the number of successes or otherwise, we will disclose levels of information.
Yeah, so what kind of check? I was thinking underworld, but I don't know if perception is enough or...
I'm happy for you to go either with a lore underworld. He's certainly made enough allusions to connections and so forth for that to be a legitimate test. And perception is also equally legitimate. So either one of those, whichever you're better at.
Perception it is then. Right, ready to roll?
Absolutely.
Hey.
Excellent. All right, you can see that he is wearing. There are no visible markings on his body. There's nothing on the warehouse that would indicate anything aside from a number. The number on the warehouse is 14, or at least it looks like 14. It's fairly heavily scored with just age and wear. It might have been 74 once upon a time. But 14 or 74, and this guy otherwise looks unmarked, but you can see he's wearing a ring on his little finger, and that's got some form of sigil on it, and you think that you might have seen that sigil before, and it's certainly, not just a decorative item, if that makes sense.
Right.
Ethan, if we can get this droid back to the ship, we can probably let the rat take care of it, right?
Yeah. Easy.
Brecko, I'd love to play with this.
Yeah, as long as it's functioning and not turned into an explosive device, it's fine.
So, I guess we'll drag it back with us.
I'll pick it up and carry it.
Well, we do have probably a more pressing meeting at the moment. Trying to, doubling back to the ship now would be too late, I'm assuming.
Well, it is getting on towards evening. It's low light. If you went back to the ship now, by the time you got back to the cantina, it would be nightfall. But that's when the cantina would probably start to be busy. So it's quiet at the moment. You've got your day drinkers are leaving or packing up, and your night drinkers are starting to come in.
I'd rather be in there when the crowd goes in. Let the lamp will stand out.
Well, what do you want to do with this droid then?
I'll bring it back on the ship and then make it back to Gante.
I can take it back to the ship and then meet you at the cantina.
Yeah. You want to head up by yourself?
He ain't heavy. He's my brother.
I'm sure I could look after myself in a town like this. Pat's at his pistol.
The other, you could ask the guy if he's got a trolley or something like that as well. That would be an option.
Nah, still, it's not going to save any time, I don't think.
No.
Unless he had like an electric go-kart sort of system, but he doesn't seem to be too taken by us. Seems to be more in the business of vaguely threatening us. So,
yeah,
I'll just take him and then hoof it back.
To be fair, in his defence.
A heavily armoured guy just burst into the warehouse and went, "What are you doing here?
Come out here and open this bin for me." So, all right. So, as you're starting to sort of move him, M8, and so M8, you're thinking you're going to take this droid, which is J9B8, back to the ship, and the other guys are going to head to the cantina. Is that the plan?
Yes. And I'm gonna.
Do you want to go alone?
I'm happy to go alone. It's probably better to have more people at the cantina.
And I think
the only risk is that if for some reason someone's stolen a droid plus beaten up a droid, sending the only droid on his own is
with
Possibly
the
risky.
broken droid. Yeah, that's not a safe thing to do. So I'll head back with you, and then we'll both go back to Cantina.
All right, done.
The person who broke that droid sees you carrying that droid, might want to break you as well.
I mean, he's welcome to try.
So we got Mazota and Jala. Are you heading to the cantina, or are you turning and going back to the ship with the other two?
No, I think it's worth trying to get into the cantina now before it gets too busy.
Yeah, we'll get a
Can you
good
get us
table.
a seat, please? Yeah.
And I'll meet you there. We'll meet you there.
Nothing in the shadowy corners. It's a bit.
Not a problem.
A spot we can see
Right.
some entrances.
As all right, we'll go with that. We'll say Heathen M8 as you sort of starting to move J9 B8 and Heathen or M8, whichever of you picks him up to carry him. He starts to talk, and you can hear. This droid is very severely damaged, and its central processing harness is absolutely shot. And it starts to talk as you lift it up to carry it away just before Mazota and Jala head off. It says, "My friend, R4W9 and I were on our way to the cantina when we were band of thugs. They tore me apart with bars, dragged him away. It is too late for me. Save.
Which way did they go?
My friend."
What did the thugs look like?
There were 6 of them.
Human? Rhodian? Twi'lek?
No, mix of races. Him. We. Hey,
Okay.
I'm just dumping the carcass.
Dead guys.
he's not dead, but he's in a very bad way.
Sorry, did he?
Is it still leaking fluids? Looks really fresh, does it?
Well, it had to have been. The guy from the warehouse said he wasn't there a little while ago.
The body was dumped recently. You're not sure exactly how recently the attack was, but it's likely to have been relatively recent. The droid, is suffering pretty severe damage to its body and systems. There's a good chance if you get it back to Brecco in time that he could do something. It's certainly not dead, but it's in the process of dying, if that makes sense.
So
What type of droid is your friend?
What was that question? Sorry.
What type of droid is your friend?
He's probably out of useful information at this point. But an R4 is an astromech, isn't it?
Correct.
Yep.
So the options obviously are
Dump this guy back in the bin and look for an astromech droid being taken away by 6 people?
or go to the bar.
Or go to the bar? Or both?
Sorry, did he? I couldn't tell if he was breaking up or you were breaking up. Then Charles.
20 hours ago. Attack was 20 hours.
Oh, 20 hours ago.
We were wearing hoods.
Hoods.
There was a restraining bolt.
Is he still got the restraining bolt on him, and then we just not noticed it?
This droid does not have a restraining bolt put on him.
Right.
On any
So,
of the parts.
Were they really short, and did they have glowing yellow eyes?
They were not Jawas, no.
So there were 6 of them. They had hoods. They've got an astromech with a restraining bolt. I mean, were they headed to the cantina? Did he say?
You can see its eyes flicker back on, and the droid responds, "We were traveling to the cantina, for, and I, our master was there."
Who's your master? Oh man.
So we can leave him here and go in and find his master and tell him what's happened. If we can find out, is there a way of
I mean,
obtaining? Yeah,
we could take him to the cantina with us.
yeah, that's probably the
Nay,
best option.
Mulroy. It was probably Bandon. Bandon.
Is it worth turning off the droid to save what little power reserves it's got left?
Yeah. I want to get moving too.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's turn him off, and then let's go find this Brandon character.
You go check in the canteen, yeah?
Yeah, I think we'll take him to the cantina with us. That makes most sense to me. We might be able to
You're
find
going
his...
to take the desiccated remains of a droid to the cantina with you?
We're going to take him to the cantina, not necessarily into the cantina. Two different things.
And we're going to look very casual about it so that we don't look suspicious.
We would.
Sorry, Alex.
I don't think we'd be the first people in the history of this planet to have a broken droid, right?
To have sat at the table in a cantina with a smashed droid in an unoccupied seat.
Not going into the cantina, though, but going to the cantina with a droid.
Just leaving
We'd
it
be able
out.
to find a spot outside, somewhere to hide it, wouldn't we?
Well, it's a shame that no one in this universe will understand that we're going to do a weekend at Bernie's with this droid.
A weekend at Bernie's will happen a long, long time in the future in a galaxy far, far away.
And it will happen twice.
Yeah, a weekend at B8's.
Well, what do you want to do then? Do you just want to turf him back down into the alley, or?
Well, let's see what happens when we get to the cantina. We haven't managed to get that far yet.
M8, as a droid, how are you feeling about this? And I'll use the words generously, callous disregard for the soon-to-be corpse of J9B8.
I don't have a particular sensation of kindredship with it.
Yeah.
It's, I as a droid who grew up in the huts, in the ownership of the huts, you saw droids destroyed all the time for whatever purpose, whether it was because they were deemed useless or whether it was just for the pleasure of a member of the cartel. But it's kind of a thing that was it's just what it was. So I'm not feeling like.
Just throwing my mind back to a certain encounter at a mining facility.
One that we may have attended.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I think. I mean, ideally he'd like to save the droid, which is why his initial suggestion was to take it back to Brecco. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's also aware of time constraints, and M8, above all else, as you can tell by his duster, is a practical droid.
Oh, Duster speaks volumes.
I mean, it does. So the practicality of having to do something with this corpse, whether it's take it with us and stash it or what. I mean,
I think it's clear unless we take it back to the ship straight away, it's not going to survive unless we find someone else to repair it closer by. So we might find its owner in the
That's
cantina.
what I was sort of hoping to achieve effectively. Yeah.
And stashing it nearby is kind of like just leaving it for dead in case we don't find someone. So I'd rather have a discussion at the cantina with someone where I can possibly convince them that this protocol droid needs to come in with us.
Gotcha. No, and that's completely fair. I guess I'm only asking just for the sake of seeing where people's sympathies lie, if indeed sympathy is the right word.
I think we've all shown that we had enough sympathy for it to try and rescue it and find out more about its
Oh, for sure.
predicament. So I'm certainly invested enough in that I want to find its master or find the astromech droid.
Also, if we could like get a tarpaulin, we could wrap it in that and take it inside as cargo.
Oh. So what do you want to do then?
Head towards the canteen and see if we can find somewhere to buy something to wrap it up in.
How big is the biggest one of us? And can we fashion a net of some kind and then have it carried on our back?
Like C-3PO in Cloud
Do we
City.
have
You
a
could do.
ability, is what I'm saying.
I'm 6'7".
That's
I'm 6'6" with a brawn of 4.
pretty big. How big's Mazota?
Not very
He's a
big.
Twilight.
He's pretty slim.
Either Heathen or M8 would be the best call.
And Glitter doesn't wear a
Probably,
shirt.
yeah.
He must be
I've got a
getting
shirt
some years sunburn.
No, I've got a shirt now.
Oh, really? Is that what you spent your $16,000 on?
I've got a full, tight-fitting bodysuit now.
Oh, slink.
You come out in the skin tight onesie.
It isn't Star Trek, dude.
I like it. All right. So we've decided that we'll wrap up the droid, which you do successfully. There's enough stuff sort of stashed around the place, either up on the walls or in the bins just here for you to essentially wrap up the remains of this J9B8 to turn it into a handsome backpack and then take it to the Regenk's cantina with you.
And head on in.